Picture Europe nearly 25,000 years ago. The Ice Age has locked the continent in ice. Snow stretches to the horizon, and freezing winds roar across the open plains without mercy. As the sun disappears, the temperature plunges. For a small family sheltering beneath a rocky overhang, night isn't a time to rest. It's a battle to stay alive. Inside the cave, a small fire flickers weakly. Only glowing embers remain. Parents wrap themselves and their children in thick animal skins, hoping they'll keep enough warmth until dawn. No one truly relaxes. No one sleeps deeply. Because outside, something is waiting. When darkness covered the Ice Age world, humans were no longer the hunters. They became the hunted. Massive cave lions silently patrolled the landscape. Larger and more powerful than the lions we know today, they could disappear into the darkness before striking without warning. Nearby, cave hyenas searched patiently for any sign of weakness. Their enormous jaws could shatter even the strongest bones. Across the frozen plains, packs of ancient wolves worked together with deadly precision. Every scent carried by the wind told them a story. Fresh blood, a wounded animal, or frightened humans trying to survive another night. Compared to these predators, people seemed hopelessly outmatched. They had no claws, no razor-sharp teeth, no thick fur to survive the freezing cold. And unlike their enemies, they couldn't see clearly in the dark. Every sunset brought the same terrifying question. Would they still be alive when morning came? Many people imagine prehistoric caves as permanent human homes. The truth was far more dangerous. Modern archaeology reveals that caves rarely belonged to humans alone. People used them. Then, predators returned. Sometimes cave bears claimed them. Sometimes lions. Sometimes humans fought their way back once more. For thousands of years, the same shelter changed owners again and again. These caves weren't safe houses, they were contested territory. Every time a family entered one, they risked meeting its previous occupant. It was a gamble with their lives. So why didn't humans disappear? Why didn't stronger animals drive us to extinction? How could such a physically fragile species survive in one of the harshest environments Earth has ever known? The answer wasn't strength. It wasn't speed. And it certainly wasn't luck. Our greatest weapon was something no predator could match: the ability to think ahead. Generation after generation, people learned from every mistake. They observed nature. They adapted. They invented new ways to survive. And little by little, intelligence became their greatest defense against the frozen wilderness. Fire meant much more than warmth. It was the thin line separating life from death. But our ancestors discovered something unexpected. A large fire burning deep inside a cave created another danger. Smoke had nowhere to escape. As it filled the enclosed space, breathing became difficult. Sleeping beside it could become just as deadly as the predators outside. So they changed their strategy. Instead of living in the deepest parts of caves, many families stayed closer to the entrance or beneath rocky overhangs. There, fresh air flowed freely. Smoke drifted away. And the glow of the fire illuminated anything approaching from the darkness. They weren't simply making a camp. They were designing a survival system. Every decision increased their chances of seeing another sunrise. Building a fire was only the beginning. Keeping it alive until sunrise was the real challenge. During the Ice Age, trees were scarce across the frozen grasslands. Dry firewood wasn't always easy to find, and a dying fire could mean a freezing night, or something much worse. So our ancestors became resourceful. They discovered that animal bones, especially those rich in fat, could burn for surprisingly long periods. They also used hardened animal fat as fuel, feeding the flames slowly through the night. Nothing from a successful hunt was wasted. Every part served a purpose. Even in death, the animals helped protect the people who hunted them. Then came another remarkable innovation. Instead of relying on a roaring fire, people created small stone lamps. These simple bowls were carved from rock and filled with melted animal fat. A strip of dried moss or twisted plant fiber acted as a wick. The flame was tiny, but it burned steadily for hours. Unlike a large fire, it produced very little smoke. Its soft light was enough for a mother to check on her child, for a hunter to find a spear, or for someone to move safely through the cave without feeding the main fire again. Thousands of years before electricity, humans had already invented portable light. Archaeologists later uncovered evidence of another brilliant idea. At Border Cave in southern Africa, ancient people didn't sleep directly on the cold ground. Instead, they carefully built their sleeping places layer by layer. First came a blanket of ash. This wasn't accidental. The ash helped keep crawling insects away. On top of it, they spread fresh grass to create a softer surface. Finally, they added fragrant plants whose natural oils discouraged mosquitoes and other pests. It wasn't luxury. It was survival through careful planning. Long before wooden houses, long before pillows, and thousands of years before modern mattresses, humans were already engineering safer, cleaner places to rest. But surviving the Ice Age wasn't something anyone could do alone. Night belonged to the group. Families slept close together, sharing precious body heat as temperatures dropped far below freezing. Every warm body made a difference, yet their sleeping arrangement served another purpose. The youngest children stayed safely in the center. Around them rested the strongest adults. If danger suddenly entered the camp, the adults would face it first. The children remained protected behind a living shield. Even while asleep, the tribe was defending itself. There was one final advantage, and it happened naturally. Not everyone becomes sleepy at the same time. Older adults often wake earlier. Younger adults tend to stay awake later. Children wake unexpectedly throughout the night. Their different sleep patterns created something extraordinary. Without assigning guards, someone was almost always awake. Someone noticed strange sounds beyond the firelight. Someone saw the flames beginning to fade. Someone quietly added more fuel before darkness took over. Without realizing it, the entire group became its own security system. It was a silent rotation that required no commands. Yet it helped countless families survive one more frozen night. Surviving the Ice Age required more than courage. It demanded careful planning. After a successful hunt, people never left fresh meat beside the place where they slept. The smell of blood could travel great distances, attracting hungry predators long before humans noticed them. So every activity had its own place. Animals were butchered away from the sleeping area. Bones and unwanted remains were discarded far from camp. The place where families rested stayed as clean as possible. A well-organized campsite wasn't simply convenient. It could be the difference between waking up safely or becoming food before sunrise. Some scientists believe humans may not have faced the darkness alone. Wild canids, the distant ancestors of today's dogs, were often drawn toward human camps. The warmth of the fire, the smell of cooked meat, and scattered leftovers made these camps attractive. Over time, a remarkable relationship may have begun. Their sharp noses detected danger long before human senses could. A sudden growl, restless movement, or an unexpected bark could warn the entire camp that something was approaching through the darkness. Long before dogs became loyal companions, they may already have been silent guardians of the night. Fire did far more than frighten away predators. It may have helped shape humanity itself. Biological anthropologist Richard Wrangham proposed an idea known as the cooking hypothesis. His argument is surprisingly simple. Cooking transforms food. It softens tough meat, breaks down hard plant fibers, and allows the body to absorb nutrients more efficiently. Because digestion requires less energy, more energy can be redirected elsewhere, especially to one extraordinary organ: the human brain. Our brains consume enormous amounts of energy every single day, as early humans evolved larger brains. Finding efficient sources of nutrition became increasingly important. According to this hypothesis, mastering fire may have helped make that transformation possible, but science rarely offers easy answers. Many researchers question this idea. One reason is the archaeological evidence. Clear proof of humans controlling fire becomes common much later than the first appearance of larger human brains. So, perhaps something else played a major role. As humans became skilled hunters and scavengers, they began eating far more meat. animal flesh provided concentrated calories even without cooking. That richer diet alone may have supported the growth of bigger brains. Perhaps fire changed us. Perhaps meat did. Or perhaps both worked together over hundreds of thousands of years. The debate continues, and every new discovery adds another piece to humanity's ancient puzzle. Today, many people believe healthy sleep means 8 uninterrupted hours. But history tells a different story. Before electricity illuminated our nights, sleep was often divided into 2 separate periods. The people experienced a first sleep, woke naturally for a while, then returned to a second sleep until morning. That quiet period between sleeps wasn't considered unusual. People prayed, talked softly, repaired tools, or simply watched the fading fire before lying down again. Even deeper in the past, our ancestors probably slept in an even more flexible way. Researchers studying the Hadza hunter-gatherers of Tanzania discovered that their sleep was shorter, lighter, and frequently interrupted. Many also rested during the day whenever their bodies needed recovery. Instead of following a strict schedule, they adapted to their surroundings. Their sleep changed with weather, danger, and the needs of the group. For thousands of generations, human survival depended on flexibility. Now imagine looking down at Earth from space. Cities glow like rivers of light. Streets never become completely dark. Our homes remain illuminated long after sunset. For the first time in human history, night has almost disappeared. Yet our bodies were shaped in a very different world. For millions of years, the rising sun signaled activity. Darkness signaled rest. That ancient rhythm became part of our biology, part of our hormones, part of who we are. Tonight, you'll probably lock your door, switch off the lights, and fall asleep without wondering whether a predator is waiting outside. Your ancestors never had that luxury. Every single sunrise they witnessed was another victory against impossible odds. They survived freezing winters, hungry predators, and endless nights of uncertainty. Because they planned. They cooperated. They adapted. And because they survived. You are here today. The greatest human superpower was never claws or strength. It was the ability to think ahead. And that single advantage changed the course of history forever.